Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Classic Quest podcast. This is the show where we break down the classic hip hop albums, or what we find on the internet to be the classic hip hop albums. And we look at why they're classic by talking about them track by track and looking at the whole album experience.
Step by step.
And this week we're going to be talking about Big Daddy Kane's Long Live the Kane album.
Yep.
And we're going to go through each and every one of the 10 songs and give you our thoughts and opinions and then kind of sum it up as a whole. That's what we do here. If you want to skip that intro bit, check the description of the video and you will see when we're going to start talking about the actual songs and whatnot. In the meantime, we wanted to let you know that there is a huge chance that you person coming to this review know way more about Big Daddy Kane than we do. Oh yeah. My name is Holden Stephan, right?
I am your lady friend Bonnie.
We are amateur hip-hop scholars who are breaking down these albums week over week, learning, trying to make that effort. We skipped last week. Sorry, we're back this week.
Life.
Yeah, Easter. It was a thing, and then we had conflicting days off, and life is what it is. Yeah, I don't care about that. But, we're just here to, learn, and this is just to go through the project and understand, why it's dope. Why do people think it's a classic?
Yeah.
And, since y'all know way more than we do, good chance of it, just letting you know, I would love to hear what you have to say in the comments. So as you go through the video, if anything you want to put in, you want to contradict something I said, or you want to add to something, or you want to tell me some story.
We appreciate little tidbits of facts or stories, or if you had an encounter with the artist or something
Absolutely.
to do, let us
know. Or if
know.
you were at a show and something crazy went off, or you have a story about buying a vinyl or whatever, and
or what it means to you.
Because this album came out and I was only 7 months old.
June 28th, 1988. So
7 months old. I'm not even old enough to have any idea at that point in my life what's even going on around me.
I was a year and a half. I'm older and wiser.
That's right. So this little 1.5-year-old baby was also just pooping in her pants.
Yep.
None of us had any idea what life was even really like back then. So just to hear from people who want to share their stories, it's
dope. Do we
dope.
even know what life is about now?
I think we're understanding what we don't know. Good answer.
True.
Yeah, I'm just patting myself on the back there. Anyway, I bring all that up because I love the comments, and we like to show our appreciation to our favorite comments on every episode. And 2 weeks ago, which should have been last week, we were talking about Kool G Rap. And which album was it, Bunny? Oh, and DJ Polo.
Oh, yes, of course, DJ Polo. It was Live and Let Die.
And on that,
which I almost got, FYI, I don't know if I mentioned it last time. Maybe I did. I don't know. Which I almost got tattooed across my back.
Live and Let Die?
Yep.
Okay.
I almost did that, and my sister still reminds me of that. In big block letters, I was going to get Live and Let Die across my back, kind of football style.
Nice.
Yep.
Why?
Paul McCartney. Not anything to do with this album. Because I had seen him live a few times and just how much I loved him at the time, and I'm glad I didn't do it now though.
That's fair. Big Daddy Kane would have respected it. But not Big Daddy Kane, Kool G Rap, I got confused on. Anyway, so Jermaine Zimmerman said on that Kool G Rap review, yes, I've been kind of hoping for a Big Daddy Kane review. He's one of my all-time favorites, but please start with one of his first 2 albums. I'm with you there, man. Why are you going to start in the middle? Unless the first 2 albums are across the internet as bad albums, in which case we might skip them. But otherwise, the beginning's a good place to start.
Absolutely.
Anyway, not that the other ones are horrible, but his first 2 are just the epitome of his greatness, so to speak. I always recommend starting with a debut album. I feel you. But just to get a general idea of what the artist is about, it's also cool to see where they start versus where they end up, especially if you know their later work. His first album is a little short, like in Illmatic mode in terms of length. His second album is more layered because it's more songs, but I'm fine with whichever one. Sorry for rambling. We're doing this one first, the Long Live The Kane, because he said it was shorter, and I have had a busy couple of weeks, so that sounded real nice. But also because it's a starting point, and of course we're going to do the next Big Daddy Kane album after this.
Yes.
I feel like we could not be a proper channel without actually going through a few of his albums. You can't call yourself a respectable review channel and ignore him. like we did for so fucking long. Anyway, before we get into the review, special thanks to the patrons: Ismail Gadamsi, Chris Prado, DJ Black Hurricane, Jonathan Barnes, and Lindell Williams.
That's right,
Talk
folks.
a bit about that at the end, but plug them at the beginning when you're still watching.
Plug them in, plug them in.
So now I think, Bonnie, you can introduce the album that we'll be talking to today, as though we haven't said it a few times already.
Yes. So this week we are doing Big Daddy Kane, Long Live the Kane. And like we said already, it came out June 28th, 1988, and it is produced by Mr. Marl.
And Big Daddy Kane is affiliated with the Juice Crew, is what I'm understanding, which is connected to the Kool G Rap review. And on that review, because Kool G Rap was also playing with them, I've actually
He's
seen...
a New Yorker.
So since that review and this one, I've watched a few of those like Vlad TV interviews with both Kool G Rap and Big Daddy Kane to listen to them kind of break down some stuff and just get a sense of like they were like the lyrical powerhouses of that crew in both of their perceptions, but they never went at each other because, you know, respecting their own things or whatever. But it was fun listening to them. Like, you know that both of them wanted to be like, I would have murked the other one, but neither of them said it. And I thought that was pretty respectable.
Well, maybe they both felt like they were like equal challengers, or maybe like that's why you would want to like see like which one would conquer.
That's true. And if you've watched Vlad, you know all he would want in life is for somebody to say something like that and it turned into a beef. And then when people talked about it, it would be like, DJ Vlad was there. And that...
Imagine we started like...
I don't want to piss off DJ Vlad. He has a bigger beard than me, or if he still has it. Anyway, still, that's not really the point. So I just think it's been really interesting, just kind of hearing these guys like talk about stuff later. Like as an example, finding out that Big Daddy Kane was loved, like Madonna loved his music, and she was able to rap his shit back.
But she's also a New Yorker too.
And she invited him to be in the sex book that Madonna made, which is a bunch of very naked and sensual photos. So you have pictures of Big Daddy Kane, Madonna, and I think it's Vivica A. Fox, all naked. And he's got his hands up in her lady bits and on her lady bits. And this was all like consensually done. Madonna orchestrated it all. But you can just see him standing there like he looks like you've never seen anybody with their shoulders bigger and puffier. Like, he is one happy dude to be in these pictures. And you can see him talking about it like in one, I don't know, I think it was with Vlad or whatever. And he was quite happy to be invited into that moment.
I'm sure.
According to him, he never smashed Madonna, but he did get to be all up in the lady bits a little bit. So I mean, that's pretty cool. Yep. Gotta give Big Daddy Kane his props, just because I don't know, that whole story distracted me at some point along the way, and I looked at the pictures and like all of it, and I was like, okay, this is real shit. Anyway, I don't know if y'all have seen that or did you know about that, but I mean,
thank you for bringing it to our attention.
Bonnie clearly didn't care. That's fine. I distracted me. Still, this is part of the show where we normally break down how familiar we are with these artists, so that you have an understanding of how ignorant we are in regards to these artists. Like, I'm sitting here talking about this like it's new information, because it is. I've never listened to Big Daddy Kane before. I think the first time I really heard him rap was on the Kool G Rap album, because he has a verse, and then I made that comment, we should probably do Big Daddy Kane next. So we did. Like,
I've heard the name before, but I didn't really know anything about him or listen to any of his stuff ever before. So this is definitely all new for me.
I mean, I understand his influence, because it's like his name comes up in everybody's influence list. Like, it's almost impossible to not hear his name, and I guess we just never got around to really covering him before.
Yep.
And the other reason we bring this up is because there's a good chance, like I said a couple of times now, that you know more than we do. And that means that when you're hearing these albums with your nuanced understanding and things that might be super obvious to you might not be super obvious to us. And if you've been listening to it, like, just if you've been a fan for 30 years versus even just being a fan for 10 years or 2 years or anything, it all changes your experience of hearing the project.
Yep, for
so
sure.
It's just to frame it like we're some early 30s people in Montreal, Quebec, Canada, bumping Big Daddy Kane 30 years later for the first time. Or is it 40? No, it's 30.
Well,
it's
88,
30.
so
it's
like
30.
what, a year?
Shh. I did bad math. Anyway, enough with the dilly-dallying. We're going to get into it. What do you think about this album cover and the title, Long Live the Kane?
Well, I mean, it is like saying that he's going to like he's the king. It kind of implies that that's what it is. Like that's when you say like long live the king, long live the like that's kind of the same sort of feeling that we're getting. So he's obviously feeling very royal, and the cover is kind of reflecting that because he's basically sitting in a throne, looking quite regal and like kind of like a Grecian or like Roman style, outfit or whatever. And he's got like these three girls kind of like waiting on him, and it's like there's purple everywhere behind him, and purple is a very like royal color. So I feel like that's just kind of like reflecting that as well, and it's like they're like these women just doting on him. So I think that he's obviously showing that he is the king, and yeah, I don't know, he's powerful or something. So and he gets the ladies.
When I look at this cover, there's a little bit of me that goes, damn, I want to do that. Like, I just want to be there. I want to be in that photo shoot.
Yep.
Like, it looks like, and if you, because he looks real young, right?
Yeah.
It just looks like that was a fun day for him. Like, that's what it looks like. Yes. It looks like you just sit there, and how could you not be, like, a little bit jealous, a little bit wanting to be him? Because he doesn't look, like, arrogant, right? He has this, like, confident, like, wow, this is all happening to me. I'm so fucking lucky. Look, like, it almost, like, feels like you could maybe be him in the sense that he's not so fucking detached. It's almost like this is his fantasy being played out, and he's like living through his fantasy is more of the feel I get from it. Maybe I'm reading too far into it.
Okay.
But like if you look at his...
I do think it is a fantasy. It's
no,
not
but like
real.
when you look at his face, it doesn't feel like Amigos or one of the more modern guys where it's just like, these are all my trophies. It's more like the dream sequence is kicked in and you're like fantasizing about, long live the Kane. I'm going to have all of this great shit. And when I'm rich and famous, I'll be sitting there in my little chair with the women waiting on me. And when you look at he's got like a little sly little look on his face, it doesn't look like he's an asshole somehow in all of his pictures, what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
I don't know. I like the cover. And I love purple. And I thought it was fun. And it made me be like, this is going to be a braggadocious album. Like, that's definitely something I feel like that screams, like, I'm here. I'm the shit.
Yep.
Long live the Kane. And yeah, I don't know. I don't have a lot more to say.
Yep, that's pretty much it.
All right, so the first track is...
Long Live the Kane.
I command it. Only MCs don't understand it. Damn it. That's the real thing, like the...
I gotta say, this album of like... I don't know if it's just that this album has better production than a lot of the more 80s-y stuff we've done that isn't like the West Coast, but like the New York-y 80s-y stuff that we've done.
Well, there's often, a lot of stuff that's quite raw sounding.
But the production on this project, to me, sounds like it's just fresher. Now, this might be one of two things. One, it actually is fresher, or B, based on the law of repetition, meaning the more you hear something, the more you like it. And it's facts. Truthfully, the more you hear even a genre you hate, you will inevitably like it and love it if you keep hearing it. Or based on that, this thing that formerly, maybe 2 years ago, I would have been like, this is so fucking boring. I'm sitting here going, damn, that song's got a groove. I just want to like dance to it and shit.
I definitely agree.
But I mean, like, the production is just absolutely stellar on this. I'm not great at describing it. Apparently it samples Here Comes the Meter Man by the Meters and Hey Last Minute by the Meters and Say It Loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud by James Brown. All I know is it's got like popping fucking drums and shit. It's got one of those groove driven, like you're clearly meant to be dancing to this at certain parts, but in other parts you're supposed to like stop and let the MC go. But as I understand just how the DJing stuff would have been done, it's like you can almost hear how at the parts where the break kicks in, that shit could have been extended for like 5-10 minutes if everybody was having it. Like it's just, and then he could have just scratched and kicked at it, and it's almost like I'm picturing this more as how it would have sounded live for this experience than I believe I'm caring as much about the studio quality. I don't know. That's just where my imagination's going with it.
Okay.
KRS-One has me thinking about some fascinating shit as I read the Gospel of Hip Hop. Anyway, but how do you feel about this track?
It definitely sounds very like old school. So it definitely, I mean, you're right away, you're transported back into like the 80s, you know, like that kind of like the beginnings of like hip hop and like that kind of stuff. And like I really like the beat and I really like the chorus. All of that's really good. The rhymes are really good. I find, you know, all of it pretty enjoyable. And there's also like, you know, like you were kind of saying, like there's sort of like these parts during the song where like the DJ is sort of like allowed to like have his like time to shine, and like he kind of like mixes and everything like that, so it's pretty cool. I felt it kind of, I feel like so many things kind of like bring me back to it, but I feel like it has the same sort of like quality as like Eric B and Rakim, like sort of, or Rakim, I always say it wrong, Rakim. So that's just my kind of like feeling. I don't know if anybody else feels the same way. But overall, it's nice, it's enjoyable, it's fun. I enjoyed the flow, the sound. I gave it a 4.25.
So I guess the first thing I'm struck with is this sounds like really groundbreaking for 1988. I mean, I've heard other stuff from 1988, and I feel like this sounds more like if you told me it was like 91, I'd totally buy it. Which I guess is why so many people think Big Daddy Kane is as influential as he is, because I guess that's what it means to be influential, that what you're doing in terms of your rhyming, and it was quick, right? Like, it's not like chopper speeds, but this is an upbeat, fast cadence, and like it's pretty dope. Like, party people in the place embrace the bass as it commence to pick out the pace and make you motivate and accelerate, because like Tony the Tiger rhyme, great. But like, that sounds like it's a kind of like, you know, more of how the 90s is rhyming, a lot more than that kind of...
I don't know, maybe.
Like, I mean, you got to keep in mind, this is 88, so there's a couple of dudes who's coming in with it, but this is faster than, you know, fuck the police coming straight from the underground, you know? Like, it's almost got like a quicker, more rhyme-driven edge to it.
When you think of it, like I was saying, like Eric B. and Rakim, or like even like the Beastie Boys, like it has like that same sort of like...
Well, Beastie Boys were way slower.
Okay.
I would say. Maybe I'm wrong.
But just like the mixing of things.
I mean, I'll give you Rakim, but he's also coming out and is also just as much of a pioneer and is also dropping projects around the same time.
Absolutely.
And then, I mean, Kool Rap's also right there coming out. So I'd say they're all like in this like era, but I don't know that there's a lot more names. I know that there's a few more, like Schooly D should be, I think, added in terms of just being like technical and pushing some shit around.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know that much by him, so I don't want to comment. So I'm starting to like, you know, check out some of it, but like, I just think he sounds so clear, and the way he was punching the rhymes and the way he was flowing over it, I felt like again I could just hear how many rappers were inspired by this project. Like, hell, especially like Party People in the Place, the Ace, the Bass. Like, who if you've written rap, you have abused that sound to fucking death, because it's one of the easiest things to rhyme with A and B, because it's just so fun. There's so many great words. But at the same time, he also adds like this charm to it by like copying the Tony Tiger thing and doing it like Tony the Tiger in the middle.
Yep.
I mean, I would say that it's pretty fucking like strong. I mean, there's some corniness to it, like for you to perpetrate the role of me, the big daddy, the big father, don't even bother, because that would mean you would have to teach each and every one idiotic son. And I mean, it's kind of corny, but at the same time, it's still smacking you in the fucking face with like well-written consistency.
Yep.
I'm like, because, you know, it's playing up on him being the dad, the powerful one, and everyone else being a fucking child and whatnot. And he's got the skills and you don't. The rhymes I recite are fully dressed, and yours are butt naked. Your speech is weak while mine stands strong, so all hail the man that's here to live long. It's just that, like, it's fucking hard for 1988. You know what I mean? So it's kind of funny to look at it in 2019 and listen to it, but I'm not trying to make fun of it, because his delivery is ridiculously powerful. Like, if he came at me and sang nursery rhymes in the tone of voice he delivered this shit, I would feel a little intimidated by him still. And I imagine he's a bit of a taller one, I'm thinking. Or I might be wrong, but
I don't know.
I figured you would have looked up his height, because he's got a big in it.
Oh, yeah. Let me do it right now.
Anyway, it's just the second verse kind of flows on, and it's the same sort of thing. Like, I would say a lot of this album, from a lyrical
What is
perspective, with maybe a couple of exceptions, is going to be kind of like rhyming. But I like his humility, you know? And then we see that in the second verse, and he goes, and when I said that I'm Kane, and he said, oh yeah, that brother that used to rap on stage with Biz, oh, he's
6
deaf.
foot.
That's kind of tall. You know what time it is, but this time I'm not assisted on the microphone, more like Patti LaBelle, on my own, just single-handed, the mic I commanded, phony MCs don't understand it, and it is the real thing, like the taste of Coke. I love this shit, man, because it all works.
Yep.
Like, I'm not trying to diminish
No, he's
it
got great rhymes. He definitely does.
at all, but it a little bit, it cracks me up in the same way that watching a good 80s movie is kind of funny in 2019, you know, like where you watch that really hard 80s shit and you're like, it's dorky, but it's awesome. And I'm getting that feeling where I don't know that I've gotten that feeling off of everything I've heard from the 80s. This album, like, I don't know, some part of me feels like I don't know why I like this as much as I do. But it's dope. It flows on through. There's 4 fucking verses of it. A bunch of DJs break. I mean, he's got amazing lines. Like, so if we ever battle, rappers try to hang and just swear that they can party, but the style that I'm using is just like karate. So if we ever battle, you're bound
like the
to
Kung
be
Fu
through.
era.
Because I got a black belt in rap can do. No, I'm not Chinese. It's just rhymes like these that's destroy an MC with black belt degrees.
Oh boy.
Everything about that is fresh.
It's a little like it's a little goofy.
But it's fresh in the sense that, like, on the one hand, when you really break it down, there's 0 points taken off. You can't even criticize it. On the other hand, if you were to drop that today, damn, you might take a beating on social media for
Yes.
it. Still, it's really well done. I'm really, really into the song in terms of, like, you know, almost like an anthropological, like, this is fucking dope in that regard. I give it a 4.25.
Okay.
I think it sounds really great.
Same.
I also don't imagine I would ever go to my way to put it on, just out of my preference and what I would go to listen to. This is some shit, though, that if I was ever at a throwback party, I would certainly want to hear. Like, in the right time and place, this is exactly the kind of jam I want to be in. I'm just rarely in that right time or place. But it's fucking good.
Okay.
Did you give your grade?
Yes, 4.25 as well.
All right. Why don't we move on to the raw
Remix.
Man, there are some cool effects that get used on this voice. Now, I don't actually think I've ever thought about when, like, reverbs and echoey effects and shit like that were really popularized in rapping.
Okay.
But we definitely see that shit here.
Absolutely.
It's on the second verse, you see it when he's like, score for wars and wars, and I get raw. You know, I'm sure to score, adored for more without a flaw, because I get raw. Actually, really fucking dope.
Yes, he does.
Like, he just says it all, like, perfectly rhymed, perfectly flowing, and just he adds like this kind of echoey, spacey feel to it. And there's a couple of times in this track where that happens. I thought that was just absolutely spectacular because, again, like, you hear a bunch of shit and then you hear somebody go and make it all spacey like that. Now, again, I don't know if this hasn't been done since like forever and ever. I'm not that up to date on like my sound engineering history, but still, as far as this track goes, it's totally, like, from a rhyme perspective, in the same vein as the last track. Big Daddy Kane's here. He raps really fucking well, and he destroys shit, and here's proof because he's going to rhyme over this fresh-ass fucking beat.
Yeah.
And then the hook is going to be just kind of, again, a little scratchy DJ break where you can just picture everybody boogieing down and whatnot. And, yeah, I liked it. As far as just lines that give you an idea of what it's like. I appear right here and scare and dare a mere musketeer that would dare to compare. I do declare getting busy is where it's at. But what you're saying you wouldn't get a point for that because you're a featherweight and your rhymes carry light, but I drop bass just like a Barry White. So how you think you could pose a threat? You say you're rocking. How many shows you get? All your vocals go local on the MIC. Mine's go a great distance, like AT&T, the cellular provider and whatnot. Anyway,
telecommunications.
I'm just like, it's kind of a lot of the same flows like that. So as you keep listening
And
to
he
it,
chose really well, like a lot of like the things that he like references like in pop culture or whatever. A lot of things that like still exist today. So he got very lucky.
as an example, I relieve rappers just like Tylenol. Very much applicable today. Tylenol's still a big thing today.
Yep.
I'm genuine like Gucci. Go fuck off. Did he make Gucci popular? If you really think about it, I don't really know. I was just saying it in a speculative kind of way. Raw like sushi. Sushi is
Very
in
popular.
fact still raw and quite popular. To stage a rage is what rap did to me. Rage Against the Machine came out a few years later. To make me want to create chaos and mayhem, they created chaos and mayhem. Cold Rock a Party. Everybody said Cold Rock a Party. One of the things I saw on the Wikipedia page is how so many things on this album ended up being quoted by other people.
Yeah.
Like, I guess everybody that ever said Cold Rock a Party probably grabbed it off of Raw. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but there's a good chance a lot of people heard it here for the first time. I don't know. It's really cool like that. Or like Better Than Dynasty or Hill Street Blues. And then what? Cool G Rap has the Ill Street Blues track a couple years later. I don't know if I'm reading too much into this, but I really am enjoying this whole process. I like when he goes, I damage ya. I'm not an amateur, but a professional, unquestionable, without doubt, superb. So full of action. My name should be a verb. Caning. Isn't it a verb to cane something? To like hit it with a stick?
Yes.
So his name is kind of a verb. Couldn't throw it out there. Anyway, I enjoyed this one. I think it is absolutely like, you know, more of a step up. Maybe it's because it's a little bit quicker. Maybe it's because of the remix, so more effects and stuff got thrown in. I don't know how to really describe the beat, but it was different than the last one. It was like a faster paced funkiness to it. Still super enjoyable. Very like it almost feels like you have to be moving to listen to this album. 4.35.
Yeah. Very nice. I mean, like, yeah, this is like a very like it's a very fun song. And like lyrically, it's basically just him like bragging about how amazing he is, and he's kind of showing off a bit, and he's like in his lyrics, and just sort of like the don't even like try to battle me because I'm so amazing and I'm gonna like crush it, and you're just gonna look like a fool kind of thing, and like no, you're not even gonna win, so like don't even try it, like that kind of like braggadocious that we get often like in this kind of like a song when they're like battle rappers, which is like everybody wants to be invincible. It's got a nice beat. It does sound like particularly 80s, but like still very fun, and like I really liked it. And then he talks about the fact that his rap makes him money, so he is making money off of this, and like it is showing that like this could be like a money making career that you can do.
He's also never smoking or hitting or taking a sniff. He's only crushing MCs that be trying to riff.
So he's kind of like he's like a good kid. He's like a good influence or whatever. Yeah, but I like this one. It had a nice beat, a nice flow. It was fun. I gave it a 4.4.
Yeah, it's all right. So why don't we set it off to the next conversation, which is to talk about Set It Off.
Okay, let's.
Now break it loose.
Do 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 do. Just the best beat so far. It's just like it keeps getting faster and more upbeat and more funky and more fun, and I don't know, man. I'm really into it.
Yep.
Let it roll, get bored. I just can't hold back or forward because I'm a man with the soul in control and effects. So what the heck? Rock the discotheque and this groove is what's next. Attack, react, exact the Mac will move you with a strong song. So as long as you groove to this, I keep the crowd loud while you're hype. Do damage on stage and injure the mic.
Booyah.
I mean, as you can tell, a lot of this track basically is in the same vein as what we've been talking about.
Yeah.
Only, in a sense, you're getting version 3 of it. Stylistically, like, look, his like cadences and shit, they're not like identical song to song. It's like he comes up with like a brand new way to reinterpret the flows and to hit it up. And I think one of the really cool things we're doing is going faster. Like, by track 3, you're already getting some don't worry, track 4 has got a nice little surprise to keep you up on your toes.
Yeah.
But track 3, it's like a brand new fucking surprise to keep it going. And then I know like Will Smith did some stuttering shit later on, but you get this problem. I can sneeze, sniffle, and cough. Even if I stutter, I'ma still come off because rappers can't understand the mics I rip. They sure enough ain't equipped. That's why they got flipped. Anyway, he rolls it on through and it keeps flowing and it's just continuously dope, like fucking rhyming. Like honestly, this one I liked. Like this is the first one where I'm like, oh shit, I really like this one. The other two were like, I respect this one. Yo, this is dope. I see this one was like, doo doo doo. I'm really like popping to it. You know, as the microphone lord proceeds to get raw, acrobatic, Asiatic, rap fanatic, I get dramatic and rhymes start flowing automatically. You know, I don't know. I could just keep quoting shit all day. That's not really what I want to be doing. There isn't like this hella depth to his lyrics. Where the real focus and emphasis you gotta put your understanding on is how he's rapping these words. Like rappers, take a step back or you will soon regret that. You know, and he keeps that whole flowing. And because he's going so quickly, he's able to like pace it all so that all of these rap back, that, you know, confront me and you can bet that. All of these words are punched up, like synchronized on the right places in the beat.
Yep.
So that if you were to run this in almost like an algorithmic sense and break down like where he's placing it, whatever, it's just tight as fuck, you know? I come correct, perfect, and full effect, disconnect, dissect, eject is a wreck shop, and everything's on fucking perfect point. Everything's doing exactly what it needs to be. This is like, honestly, there's a lot of value in like learning this shit. Like this is the history. This is where it starts. This is like everything that you heard that's like super tricky is coming from shit like this in theory. And I was really into this one. I mean, the chorus is fine. It again gives you that dancey vibe, like break feeling to it.
Yep.
I think the more I understand how this culture came to be and the history of what's going on in this music.
I think this was like really like how it started off, right? Like, and a lot of it, like, there wasn't just like, it wasn't just like the music, it was also like the dance. It was like a lot of different like things kind of combined. And I think that the music and the dance were kind of one in the same when it comes to like hip hop. Yeah, and of course like the DJ and like, you know, like all that kind of stuff. So I think that this sort of plays with like everybody's skills. Like everybody's able to show off. The DJ's able to show off. Like you're you know, like if you're like, you know, a rhyme, like, you know, if you've got great rhymes and you can spit amazingly, like, you know, you can also show off this, but you can also do like your break dancing or like whatever other dancing that you want to be doing. Like it's cool.
But it's like you can tell that this was meant to be played at some kind of venue where people are going to be moving their feet. Like because like
I can even see it on like the street corner, like you know, when people are just like breaking it down and
whereas if you look at a lot of music today, you can tell it's meant to be played in headphones. Without like you can tell it's meant to be something you vibe to on your own,
right?
Or like in a private home experience. Whereas this is built like, it honestly, I feel like I'm not getting the real experience listening to this at home. There's not enough people moving around me.
I feel like you need like that big silver like boom box and to like listen to it on that.
You gotta have like those speakers that are taller than you, and then like the whole place is shaking and it's like, and like you can see like little rubbles falling because the whole building's vibrating. I had this a 4.5. This shit is not the deepest rap I've ever heard in my life, but this motherfucker is dope.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, definitely, it's a cool sounding song, and it kind of starts off with like really like sick rhymes like right away, and it's got this sick beat, and like your head starts bobbing, and like you're like into like this song right away. One of the verses that I chose, or one of parts of the verse, it was the end of the first verse, I think it was, because I get ill and kill at will, teaching a skill that's real, you're no frill, so just stand still and chill as I build science I drill until my rhymes fill your head up. Don't even get up. The teacher is teaching, so just shut up. So it's like hard, it's punching, it's fun, it's like crisp rhymes. It's fun. I really enjoyed it. It's good.
But you're right. There is that tone that he almost wants to share knowledge with you. He is showing you like the blueprint. It's not just like I'm the shit. It's if you want to be the shit, this is what's up.
Yeah, like he's like showing you like exactly like what you said. It's good. I really like this one. At the end, he like, you know, he kind of dedicates this to all his buddies, and then he kind of mentions all of his friends. So it does kind of drag on for like a little bit. So it was like It was a bit annoying to listen to, and it's definitely not something that you would go back to because it's annoying to listen to over and over again.
I'm gonna throw it out
but
there.
for me, let me finish. For me, like on the album, it works, it's fine, it's good, but I wouldn't necessarily pull this one off to listen to on its own just because of like the ending part. But I give it a 4.35.
I mean, you're allowed to feel the way that you feel. Nobody's
Yes.
saying that isn't true. What I'm trying to say is it's about that vibe. So even with the shout outs and shit, you're still going. Doo-doo-doo. Anyway, the day you're mine.
Lot that I'm asking you to give me. That's only because I need you with me, side.
There's not a single feature that this girl lacks. Baby, you're my aphrodisiac. You've got me waiting for you day by day.
Okay.
Fantasies of
Please
you
stop.
has got
Oh,
me
God.
drifting away.
This is the worst. This is the worst.
I'm not gonna lie. This threw me for a fucking loop.
This one, yeah, it's something, all right. It slows down. It definitely on this one.
I don't know what love like yours would be. No, look, I'm making fun of that singing because
But it's
It's-
pretty bad though.
it's like somebody said to him, "You need a song for the ladies," and he's like, "All right."
And
he
then,
wrote-
so I mean, it's a love song.
and when
it's
you listen to the words, as much you gotta understand, it's not the words. The words are actually the right thing to be saying. Talk about ever meeting Miss Right. But one thing I know, this girl is hype. Not a crab, but I see such a lovely female, and if looks could kill, she would be in jail. Okay. Then that weird aphrodisiac line. So he's smitten with her looks. And then he's like going, girl that I admire, one that I desire. No one can stop the feelings you inspire. The way that you leave me in obsession with the chambers of my heart in your possession. Let's be real. This is some pretty fucking good romance poetry. Like the poetry.
All right, okay,
The-
yes.
not the delivery. So you got this poetry, okay, with the exception of, because every time I appear to be pleased, you know what happens? It just gets skeezed. Okay, that verse is a little bit like, okay, but it's honest. He's like, you make me so nervous and I might fuck this up. But really, I want you, and he's doing it all right. But then you listen to the way he raps this, man.
It's embarrassingly bad.
Even the rap. So the rapping part is all right. It's not, it's just, he comes off sounding
Ooh.
like an 80s poem being delivered, like every bad stereotype that you could associate with romance
Yeah.
of this time. And like,
It's like the chorus is just, it's
but even like the
terrible.
verses talk about ever meeting Mrs. Right, but one thing I know, it's like it's just so intense, and
It gives me the heebie-jeebies, like just like the way that he's like describing him, and he's just like not like the best singer, and he's just like waiting for his dream girl. I don't know.
on the real, I want to know, folk watching this, was this a hit? Like, was this the jam? If you're a lady, did this shit get you a little damp up in the panties when
Oh,
you heard
no.
Big Daddy
Like-
Kane doing his thing? And I don't know, right? Because maybe for the time, like the other angle of this is to have such a hard-hitting MC do the emotional thing is sexy, and because that whole angle works.
I guess.
I mean, it's like if the verse, if you had like an R&B singer on that hook and it was the same verses, it would work better. But I gotta give Big Daddy Kane all
Like, good
the fucking
effort,
credit.
but-
Like all the fucking credit. Like a dramatic fanatic for our relation, Cupid has me stupid with infatuation and a fashion of passion so tenderly with vibes I can't describe. You send to me the personal attachment which I feel to you, my dear. I will try to reveal. This is some dope ass panty dropping lyrics, okay? With just the delivery that, and that's why I
Just
don't know.
awful.
Maybe in the '88, this was fire. Like this was like Versace. Because we're gonna look back on Versace and be like, oh, damn, that was weird. But like now, like you know, like maybe it was kind of like that. Like in the moment, it made a lot of sense. Like I got bras in Atlanta, toast in Dublin, and like that shit seems to be going in the past.
Like, who let the dogs out?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess. Anyway, so I'm just wondering, and maybe I'm being a little bit insensitive. I don't really know. I thought this was motherfucking hilarious. Okay?
But it's not trying to be hilarious. That's the thing.
But the poetry is that good. The beat is that corny good. Like, this is like watching like one of those movies that is so bad it's amazing. So it's a 4.5. Like, allow me to be abundantly clear.
What?
The lyrics are that
You're giving
good.
this the best grade you've given any song so far?
I set it off a 4.5 too. I think the singing on this project, this song, is iconically bad. This is so good. It inspires me to feel brave enough to sing.
No.
I see you waiting for me. Like, you know what? Big Daddy Kane did it, so I can do it too. The rapping is so sincere and so passionate that I understand. If you thought he was hot, you'd be all over that shit.
Like, I can only like imagine him like having like written the song, and then he's like so excited, and like, you know, he goes to like present it to the girl that he's in love with, and then she's just kind of like, ugh, awkward, no thanks. Like, he seems like overly possessive and very clingy, like based off of like everything that he's saying. He's definitely like, I would just be like, no thanks, and just be like, you know, be like, oh, very nice song, yes. Like, I would just find this like creepy, like just like the tone of it and like what he's saying and the way he's saying it. It just makes me feel so uncomfortable. Like, this is, I mean, maybe it's like today's culture or whatever, or like how like we're like receiving this, and maybe like in 1988, like you were saying, like maybe this was like received differently. But for me, like, I feel like this is like so creepy, this song, and it may be his feelings, but it is not good, and maybe he definitely should not sing. I give this a 2.5 because it's
Big Daddy
niche.
Kane. I know that if you kept at singing, which you might have, haven't listened,
Maybe
you could be quite the beautiful sounding man at this point. It's all right. Don't listen to haters like Bonnie. That's what we're on. We're not on that hater tip over at Behind That Suit. We support your singing. You give all of us the
I support
courage.
your rap songs. This was just not good.
Bonnie is clearly
Not for me.
on the bugged tip.
That's right.
Whole fish except for the tail. Keep food in the fridge so it don't get stale. And when there's nothing to eat,
So remember that time I was talking about some album in the 90s where people went back and forth and everybody watching it knew this shit was going on in the 80s? That was embarrassing. Even on this track they were doing it. So we have a friend, Mr. Scoob Lover, and he's hanging out with Big Daddy Kane, and they're just kind of rapping some shit. Now I don't have a whole lot to say about the lyrics of the song. It is a little bit more on the vapid, sillier side. To me,
Yeah.
this one is one of the more harder for me to get into tracks that we've come across on this project, but I did like the beginning. So it's like, yo, on the mic right now, we go by the name of Big Daddy Kane. I got my man Scoob Lover that's all hyped up, and then like Scoob, he's like, yo, but wait a minute, yo Scoob, what's up? Pardon me for a moment as I interrupt. For what? For this. And there's like this awkwardly long pause. Like, it's not right away. It's just like, okay, like what did you interrupt him for? You like the stylish clothes we wear. You like our black top style of hair. It's just those bug the things we do that make them girlies want to stare. And I'm like, that was worth waiting for. That really was. That part of the song right there is my absolute favorite fucking part of this song. It is so good. And then it goes into rapping, and they're going back and forth a bit, and like we're chilling with the crew or drinking that old English brew straight from the bottle, not the cup, and it gets us more than just fucked up. Anyway, save your whack rhymes, hold your female, pass the old gold, trash the ale, cash your food stamps, get the wick out the mail, love to eat shrimp, but I never eat snail, eat a whole fish except for the tail, keep food in the fridge so it don't get stale. I mean, like, it all rhymes and it all flows.
It all
and when
rhymes.
there's nothing to eat, I bite my nails. Go, Scoob Lover. You know your rhymes are kicking. Get on the mic because you know you eat chicken. Is that like trying to imply like
winner, winner, chicken dinner?
or maybe he's like, you are what you eat. Remember, he said that somewhere else, so you have to feed him dope. That's what we learned.
So he's a chicken?
So I'm saying maybe he's calling Scoob a chicken unless he gets on the mic. I'm like, okay. Now, I'm going to place an order for a Scooby Snack. Not at the Chinese restaurant because I don't eat caps. Now, who in the world can ever eat these? When I'm at home, I chow down with ease. And say more beef sausage, Mom, please.
See, like, this is more of this, like, guys being like, yep, by the way, girls, if you come date me, I'm not going to go down on you, like, FYI. Because he doesn't eat cat. I assume that that's what he implies. And, like, time and time again,
I took
it's
it like it was more literally I don't want to eat cat at the Asian place.
Well, no, people eat dog. That's,
No,
usually.
cats.
No. I think he implies I think it's more what I'm implying.
Did you ever think when you eat Chinese, it ain't pork chicken but a fat Siamese? Like Cats in the Cradle or whatever, the cover by like Weird Al Yankovic. It's not a dog, it's a cat in the fucking song, okay? A fat Siamese. Not a dog. Anyways, this is a dumb side tangent.
Anyways, what did you give this one?
No, we're not. Well,
Where
okay,
we
so
at?
he doesn't
I
eat
don't
the vaginas. That's what you got from that. Okay, maybe he doesn't eat the veg. I thought it was just vapid enough to actually just be.
Oh, see, I don't know. I thought it was more because.
And then he's talking about more beef sausages from his mom. Does that mean that whole subject is a subtlety for saying he's gay? Think about it. He doesn't want the kitty. He wants to, I'm not really saying that. I was just running with it because I thought it came in.
I don't know.
That's right. Mommy
about...
Dukes, she feeds me swell. Coffee on the table, orange juice as well. Some of the things I say are outspoken, guaranteed to have you choking. See, to me, it just doesn't sound deep enough to have that second tier messaging going on.
Oh, I don't know.
And then, then it just kind of like ends at a certain point. And then I like how he goes and he's taken his name, and apparently this is a backronym. It didn't start as King Asiatic, nobody's equal for his name. That's what it became. After the fact, I had looked up where the Kane came from, but it was from something else in particular. Either way, the show's fine. It's not the show. The song is fine. It is a 4.25 for me. I feel like it's got like an equal value in terms of listening to it throughout this project. The beat's really fun. The rhyming is really enjoyable, but the subject matter is like, okay. That's where I was at with this one, and it just seems so regular. Like, just so regular. Don't get me wrong. To be specific, it may die one day, but my rhymes will remain like a hieroglyphic. It's a certain special skill that takes much practice. I got it good. Apparently, you like this. It's not bad, but it's also like, okay.
Yeah. It's fine. Like, I agree. I also give this one a 4.25, spoiler alert. So yeah, DJ is sort of just kind of like playing around at the beginning, and then it just seems like a fun one, like with like his like buddies, like he's just kind of like, playing around, like they're all just kind of like showing off and having fun, and like they're just sort of like this like back and forth between the two of them, and they're both like rapping and showing off and like doing what they, do best. And then at the end, like there's like the beat, it gets turned off, and then so it just sort of like they're clapping along, and then so it just sort of like this kind of like a cappella, like it feels very like on the street corner, like the rapping, or like just like a little battle rap. It just is fun. It's fun to listen to. It's not really like anything that's like like substantial in terms of like the lyrics or anything, but it's enjoyable to listen to, that's for sure. So how about we go on to Ain't No Half-Steppin'.
So I can chop into your body just because you try to be basing Friday the 13th.
So this is another song where I feel like there's a bit of a juxtaposition in sound going on. It's got this casual, got this enjoyable casual little flow going on. The beat's smooth and nice. It almost sounds like, to me at least, this is the music for like a nice barbecue, enjoyable summer vibe. Like, this is the vibe of the beat.
Okay.
But instead, what do we get, Bonnie? Why don't you start us off this time?
Well, it just, right away, it just makes you think of like a Biggie song. It makes me think of, because it is something that I think he sampled. It's very pleasing to the ears. Like, it's very fun. It's enjoyable. I really enjoyed this one. I just thought like one of the lyrics is kind of funny, like competition I just devour, like a pit bull against a chihuahua. And I'm like,
I feel like the chihuahua wins that fight.
You feel? Is that what you feel?
Well, it depends.
I feel like not at all.
I feel like the
like
chihuahua...
like in reality, it's all like it get a
reality,
story, sure.
Unless
but
that
in
pit
reality,
bull's, like that chihuahua's an
not so
asshole.
much. Yeah, but a chihuahua's only little, and I feel like a pit bull would just be like, and then just like snap its neck, and that would be that.
You're probably right.
Yeah. Anyways, it's like sick rhymes, and the beat is really sick, and it's so much fun. And like, if you're going to challenge him, you better bring it all, like, because he's gonna destroy you. He never loses. Like overall, like I really didn't really find anything that was too wrong with this one. It was just so much fun. It was enjoyable. Like you want to like kind of like, you really, I don't know. I like this one. I gave it a 5 on 5. I loved it.
If I'm not mistaken, I saw somewhere that "Ain't No Half-Steppin" is Big Daddy Kane's favorite song that he ever wrote.
Yeah, for sure. It's great.
Lyrically, it's pretty cool. Something that I thought was striking is stuff where you got a lot of moments on this track where it's like, you know, like you're just a butter knife. I'm a machete that's made by Jinsu. Wait until you try to front so I can chop into your body. Just because you're trying to be Basin Friday the 13th, I'ma play Jason. And it's just like, no matter what you are.
And he really loves Jason. I watched something about it.
A little bit bigger. He's a little bit better. It's kind of like, that's it. He's, no matter what you are, he's ready to like defeat you, you know? I got it good. Now let me tell you who I am. I'm the BIGDADDYKANE. Hey, I mean, everybody did that shit.
Yeah.
Anyway, I mean, they're spelling out the names, but like, it's really just done so well. Dramatic, Asiatic, not many like it. I'm different, so don't compare me to another, because they can't hang word to the mother. And it just kind of rolls on through. And it flows, and every verse kind of is, fundamentally breaking down that he is the best MC that you're gonna flock with. And if you are gonna make the choice to come at him, you better bring your absolute all, because there ain't no half-stepping.
That's right.
But he's good. Like, it's so enjoyable to have MCs coming out sounding so similar. It's quite confusing for you to remember. I'm the originator, and boy do I hate a perpetrator, but I'm much greater, the best. Oh yes, I guess suggest the rest should fast. Don't mess and test your highness till you address with best finesse and bless the paragraph of manifest. Ooh!
Yep.
Just the way he can manipulate these plugging in the sounds over and over and over again. I mean, that's like, to me, some of the freshest shit you can do. He devours with the power of Hercules, because Hercules is a very strong Greek god thing that took on Medusas and shit. You know, it's Greek mythology hero.
Honey, I think you mean Hercules.
Or Samsung. Samson, the dude with the long hair, you know, he had the long hair, and that gave him super strength. So, you know, that's why you got to grow out your hair so that you can be strong like Samson. And then when his hair got cut, he lost all his strength. But he goes further than that, because you could scout my cameo and he'll still have strength. Oh, fuck, he's not like Samson. See, because if his hair gets cut off, he'll still fuck you up. Anyway, this song's dope. I gave it a 4.5 on 5. I really, really, really enjoyed it.
All right.
Why don't we move on to the next song then? And what is the next song, Bonnie?
I'll take you there.
They all stand proud. Senior citizens party with a hip-hop crowd. You can hang at a jam.
So, Big Daddy Kane is going to take you to a place. A wonderful, wonderful place. Mm-hmm. And if you asked about a crime, they'll all say, huh? Because they wouldn't even know what you mean. Because it's a different program, y'all know the routine, where people work hard for a decent buck, and you can wear truck jewelry without being stuck. Shit, man, imagine wearing nice stuff and not getting robbed and whatnot.
Yep. Never
wondering whether your house is alright, so go leave your VCR on the pouch overnight. I mean, you could do that.
I will.
In Montreal, it's a terrible idea because it'll get rained or snowed on or something. But otherwise, I love it. And as far as the people, they all stand around. Senior citizens party with the hip-hop crowd. Gosh, that's dope. When old people fucking jam to fucking hip-hop, that's the best.
It's a dream, right?
This crack ain't nothing but a hole in the wall. So those who wish to live with glare and flare, there's a place you can be. And yo, I'll take you there. I mean, there's the hook.
Yep.
And it's just really cool. War ain't nothing but a game on Atari. You know, the message applies to other nations like Africa, for instance, where there's starvation. But if you come with me, you're sure to see. Ethiopians can eat and wrap lobster for free. People that you saw before that were poor will never see the situation no more, because this in this world, everyone's a millionaire. Is there a wick? Are you sick? And what the hell is welfare? And I really like that. Gucci only costs $5.99, and it's just like this amazing utopia that he's envisioned, where he's looking at the different struggles in his community and just being like, look, close your eyes, come with the music. Let's look at this place we could all dream together and like almost work towards building. And like, this is something that we should be aiming towards. This is something really, really cool. And I mean, this is the second song that isn't directly like I'm the shit that we've listened to. And then think instead of the love song, this is an excellent direction. Like, you sit there and you can't help but like feel almost uplifted with the way this song is done. Like, Big Daddy Kane understands what's going on and he's gonna make it better. And I felt like, damn, man, this is a really cool track.
Yep.
Very interesting to listen to. I give it a 4.35 on 5. It isn't as much, like, it's a little slower paced, a little bit like more of a nice pensive song than like, I get the point of this track on the album, but I love the point of this track on this album.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So it's actually like there's the sample is taken from the Staple Sisters, I'll Take You There. So like that's like a song that like I knew like right away, and I was like, oh, like I know that song. So it was kind of like fun listening to it like into like the mix like this. And he's also going to like take you there like musically, and like he's hoping that he can like take you there into like this like utopia, like you said, this paradise, this kind of like hopeful place that, you know, is like ideal. Like he's hoping that we can actually go there, that this could actually maybe be a reality. So he's just sort of like imagining this place that has no crime, like you said, and everybody gets along with all types of music, and crack doesn't exist because this was like the time of where crack was, you know, like a really big problem. And so this definitely has like a stronger message in it than, you know, many of the other songs so far. And it is just sort of like his dream. It's like his heaven. Like, you know, he's just sort of hoping that, you know, you can also believe it with him. You know, and I think that this is like a serious message that he wants to get out, that he wants people to stop being so negative and just sort of like remind people that it's time to change. Like, this isn't like who we are. This isn't like what we are. Like, we need to change. And I like this one. It was very good. And I think that it's a strong message today, and like maybe just like switching up like certain issues to modern ones, like it's going to have the same, you know, strength and effect on you know, today. So I do think it does carry through quite well. So I give this a 5 on 5.
All right, let's talk about Biz Markie.
Let's
Just rhyming with Biz, you know.
I'm the rap promoter. I start to motor. Tour from New York.
So Biz Markie sounds a lot more like what I think of when I hear 1980s rap in my mind. Like, I'm the rap promoter. I start to motor. Tour from New York to South Dakota. Drink ginger ale or root beer soda. Never get the girls with underarm odor.
good.
I'm like, okay, put me on water. I'm a good floater. I'm like, this.
No, Biz.
I don't know what that means. Like, I don't know if there's like an actual deeper amount to it. Apparently, actually, I clicked on the Genius annotation just to see.
Because humans float.
Well, apparently, the LA Dodger GM Al Campini's in an interview the previous year famously said that blacks are often poor swimmers because they don't have buoyancy. See this and some of his other racist remarks below. The buoyancy.
Wow.
Anyway, so put me on water. I'm a good floater. I guess he does have buoyancy. When I run for prez, you best be a voter. I mean, look, it's not bad. It's just, I feel like Big Daddy Kane has been giving us this. I'm like, I've never listened to Biz Markie before. I mean, everybody knows the, oh, baby, you.
Yep.
Yeah, what I mean. But, like, I never really, like, I know he's been a thing. I know he's an old-timey hip-hop guy. I just never realized that this is what he sounded like.
He's just sort of like a goofy
like, listen,
rapper.
Once knew a girl by the name of Rhoda. I watched Star Wars just to see Yoda or R2-D2 driving to the BQ. When I buy Franks, I make sure they're Hebrew.
Well, yeah.
I mean, that's like saying they're kosher or they're
know.
not picking them and shit, which makes sense and all that. But, like,
Also, they're just more delicious.
at the end of the day, I watched Star Wars just to see Yoda. I was like, what the fuck is this verse about? Watched a good flick by Arnold Schwarzenegger, maybe Commando or The Terminator. Peace, party people, haha, see you later. Big Daddy, haha, my man, my mellow. I have a question for you, Internet. This is where I'm hoping you, DJ Black Hurricane, or one of y'all comes in for the rescue. Get on the mic because you know you eat Jello. What? What does that mean? Is that like when the other guy said get on the mic because you know you eat chicken? Like he's trying to imply you're like a
Like I'm
jelly
trying to think if there's
or
like
scared.
anything like to do with like Bill Cosby
Or
at the time.
did it just
or, like,
rhyme? Is it just because it
I
rhymed?
think it probably was just because it rhymed.
But it's like, yo, it's like if I went up, hey Bonnie, you best grab this mic because I see you eating that Jello over there.
I'd be like, okay.
I mean, I don't know if I'm missing something here, but you just gotta understand how goofy this is for me to listen to. Anyway,
It makes me want Jello. It makes me want like at like a buffet or something when they have like those like cubes of Jello. It makes me want a green cube of Jello.
Either way, Big Daddy Kane comes in and he does it all proper. Like his rhyming is exactly what you would expect for the rest of this album and everything, you know. So to me, getting paid and getting busy fall together. So a man in my ambiance, never could I be weak. Nah, why I'm rather unique. I got style, flavor, grace, and plus a different technique. Or he goes, I cold turn a party on out, and oh yo, I get physical, mystical, very artistical, giving party people something funky to listen to. That's why other MCs can't swing long. I stomp 'em out just like I was King Kong, stepping on roaches. I get ferocious, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Everybody that uses that should get a fucking shout out for dropping that into hip hop, okay?
Yep.
Anybody that says it ripped it from him unless somebody else said it first.
Mary Poppins.
Fuck Mary Poppins. All I'm trying to say. Either way, I really enjoy this. Oh, he does have he say a fresh cameo cut? I don't know what that means. His cameo with the fucking cod piece who did Word Up, Up is the code word. So that guy had the same haircut that he's referencing here.
Oh.
And he had a cod piece, which is that little red shit he would wear on his dick in every videos, which
Cod
was
piece?
a medieval fashion garment accessory
I
thing.
feel like I need to look that up.
Look up Cameo and his cod piece, and you will see it in his videos. I bet people here watching this video know what I'm talking about. If not, look up Cameo and his cod piece. That is not one I'm clipping into the YouTube video. I digress. I like this song.
Weird.
It's pretty fun to listen to. I mean, Biz Markie, it's a bit wonky, so it doesn't get like the higher grades of this album, but it's fun, so it gets a 4.25.
Yeah.
Have you looked up the cod piece?
Yes, it just looks weird.
It's a real thing.
It's like a reverse chap.
But like for real, this was an actual thing from the medieval ages. I don't remember what it was. I think Rap Critic does a really good breakdown of this cod piece. Or no, it was Taught in the Shadows on his One Hit Wonderland series for Cameos, whatever. Check it out. That's dope. Anyway, Bonnie.
All right. Yeah. So, anyways, we have two greats. So it's interesting. I was excited to like listen to this song. And at the beginning, it just kind of sounds like Biz is just like playing with the mic, and it is kind of like weird. And he definitely sounds like when you hear him, like every time, like, and I've only heard him like a few times, but it's every time so far. It always sounds like he's smiling or he's happy or he's laughing, and he definitely has like this like blah, 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 like he's just like a goofy kind of a guy. I like it. I like the line where he says, "When I buy Franks, I make sure they're Hebrew." I like that, and like they're both doing like good verses, and some of their like lyrics are like a bit dated and like don't really make sense. But other than that, they're good. Like there's really like not, again, like this isn't like a deeper message or anything. This is just like two guys having fun.
And we learned that Big Daddy Kane eats Jello.
Yeah. And they beeped out a swear word, which I thought was kind of funny. I don't know if that was like the standard back then or if it was just something that they did on this song.
Oh, where was it?
I don't know, near the end, I think.
You're talking about when he goes, Cameo, Afro, Virgo, Domino, I go Rambo, Gigolo, Romeo, Friday night, spend money on a hotel to get some good night's sleep. That was one of my favorite parts of the song. Because he wasn't really bleeping it. I mean,
but there's like a beep, like an actual like.
I don't know. Maybe I missed it.
No, there is.
But they let pimp through.
Pimp isn't like a swear word.
It's not a polite word.
Yeah, but somebody can be a pimp. Like pimp is a real word.
I feel like you would edit out pimp now.
No.
Would you not?
You would never.
I don't know. Either way, I like that
It's
hotel
not
to
rude.
get a good night's sleep. I'm keeping it.
The act of what a pimp does is rude.
I digress.
Anyways, this one basically, I liked it. It was good. And it just definitely sounds like some guys having some fun in the studio and just like goofing around. So I also gave it a 4.25.
The question is, have you been to that meeting or even seen the memo referring to Mr. C's master plan? And
DJ Mr. C.
Who's the man with the master plan?
So it starts off like that, and then you get this really cool verse that what I really appreciate is that DJ Mr. C hypes up Big Daddy Kane. So Big Daddy Kane kind of flips it back and
Yeah,
flips it right around and goes,
because he was
nah,
a radio host and a producer at the time in like New York, I believe.
But here we go on the show as the rhythm starts to flow, no matter the tempo, fast or slow, get up and dance, because Kane said so. This is the dance floor groove of the album, present to you all live from Calvin. Whoops, I meant to say Mr. C, the disc jockey down with me, the microphone lord, my wisdom is a sword. Whatever. And then it just is, it's not really a song after that. It's more like a groove where everything is just being played out, the DJ work's happening, everybody's shouting each other up. Like, yo, tell them where I'm from. Lewis Avenue, Lewis Avenue. You know, it's just like that, you know?
Yep.
And then Kane shouts out all of his people, and then Mr. C, like, shouts out all of his people. And it's a lot of beat work and a lot of groove.
Yep.
And it's almost, 5.5 minutes long?
Yeah, it's relatively
a
long.
lot of it. And here's the thing. On the one hand, I'm like, this song's not about anything really. It's just showing love and it's shouting out. It's almost like the credits song on the album. Like, and on the other hand, it's such a funky groove and it's such a fun thing to listen to, where you don't really care what's being said because who cares? You just want to be like, who's the man with the master plan?
Yep.
And then just go back to like dancing around and shaking your booty while you're washing the dishes or whatnot. And then it just plays and it beats on through, and then you're like, the other one I remember is Lewis Avenue. Like, you just like shout out to the parts where you're supposed to scream out with everybody, and then it plays on through, and it's like, again, really fun, but like super well produced on just a live dynamic. Like, you kind of notice that it's a long song and that a lot of it's credits, but you don't care. You don't really mind it because the beat is actually that engrossing, engaging, and groove worthy. So I'm giving this another 4.5. It's as up there in equal value to me as Baby I Love You. Anyway, his singing performance.
Yes. So Mr. C, like I was saying, he was like the DJ at like a local radio station at the time. And like I thought this would be like a really, like, if this song was like pushed for the radio. So I thought that was like a really great like song to make it for radio play. Like I could see this like being like the DJ's like intro song now. Like I just thought that was like really cool. And also, fun fact, he also wrote this song. So I thought that was like interesting that they were working together, and I don't know, small world. So it just, it was like a hyped up beat spitting his name, basically. Lots of cool samples, which I thought was really cool, like a lot of samples. And there was like Eric B. and Rakim and like the Beastie Boys and like other like hip hop like that came before him, and I thought that was like really cool. Like I said, nice beat. I enjoyed it. His songs are lengthy, but he also uses that time, like, you know, he has like his time for like rapping and like using his, you know, skill, and then he also gives like time to like the DJ in most of his songs to kind of like show off like a little bit and like have like his time to like really like do his thing. So I thought that's kind of cool. And then he, you know, like you were saying as well, shouts out like where like him and like all of his like pals are from.
Lewis Avenue.
But like then shouting out everybody that's like helped like work on like this record. And so, but like the last part again, like when they do this kind of thing, it's usually quite skippable, and it's not like necessarily like, you know, like the most of the song, like 85% of the song was great, and then the last part is just kind of like a little bit like annoying, and so you don't really need to listen to it every single time. But yes, I definitely agree with you. It's well produced. The beat making is fun. The rhymes are nice. And it definitely, like the ends kind of sucks a little bit, but it definitely feels like historic rap. Like it feels like you're listening to like a piece of history, and it's great. I really enjoyed it. I give it a 4.25.
All right. How many more songs are left on this project?
Last one, Word to the Motherland.
However, to sever, we could never. So hold up the peace sign and stand together.
I was like, I know that sample. Doom, doom, doom. And then I realized it must be like that James Brown sample that gets used in a whole bunch of shit.
Yep.
So I looked up Lewis Avenue, and it looks like a pretty nice neighborhood these days. I don't know what it looked like back then. No, like you got like the Google Street Views where you can like look at it, and it's a pretty long street. And like as I understand Google Maps comparatively, it might not be that clear, but it looks like a pretty lengthy street. I just wanted to share that with you. I was curious because it's Lewis Avenue, which I now know about due to this track. How do you feel? No, I feel this song, this album closer, was I think a really standout moment on this project outside of the awesome James Brown sample. Has everything to do with the point of the song, which is a very pro-Africa, like be proud of who you are and understand like where you come from and your history and shit.
Yep.
And his just knowledge, like being taught by the teacher that's most dominant. You need knowledge? Well, I'm dropping it. Listen to the rap, allow it to trap your body and soul so you can adapt to the man on display. So I take you away. So may I? Yes, you may. Proud to be a black man, coming exact and giving up brothers 5 on the black hand. It just kind of like flows in, and then Marley Marl goes, yo, word to the mother. I say the mother is in the motherland, but on the other hand, another man tackled and shackled our ancestors, but we beat him with freedom, so let's bless the country that we all come from. Then it flows on a bit, shouts out Malcolm X, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and Martin Luther, and just inspirations is the knowledge source of what he's getting. And then, it's got a second verse, and he's, again, showing through knowledge and shit that he wants to, like, break the chains of what's held him there and focus on the real teachings and the real lessons to get past everything and recognize that, being black is to be an amazing thing. So I can appreciate the value in what this song brings to the table.
Yep.
And I think strategically it's a good thing to end on. It's not what you're expecting. I mean, you expect everything about it from the title, because you look at the title and you're like, yeah, I know what that's going to be about. But from like, if you weren't expecting it because you weren't looking at the track list and you were just listening to this project, this will catch you off guard. And really, like, you just got all the blessed reasons why you should care about him. And before he lets you go, here's some real shit to think about. I thought that was pretty cool. The beat's just this beat's super fucking fresh. I gave it a 4.5. I really appreciate it. I mean, it was very top level. It was like a little intro so that, you're kind of waiting on the next album to get like, a little bit deeper into the subject matter.
Yep. So
I do appreciate what value this also brings to the equation.
Yeah. Did you give your grade?
4.5 on 5.
Right, 4.5. Yeah, so, I mean, this is obviously, like, like you mentioned, this is, obviously them talking about, like, Africa, the motherland, and, like, that's where they're coming from, and to be proud of, like, being who you are, and, like, where you came from, and for being a black person, and peaceful protest is, like, their strength. That's kind of what he's saying, like, this is what we can do, which is basically what, Martin Luther King Jr. was, like, repping, and, so, obviously, like, there's, James Brown mixed in, which I love. He's great. He's great. And he's basically teaching us a lesson about, like, understanding who you are, where you came from, again, same sort of thing. And that your strength is being black. And, that's, I think especially, like, at this time, like, there was kind of, like, such, like, a hatred and, like, sort of, like it just seemed like in like the 80s, like there was just like this dirtiness to like being black, because it was just like these ghettos were just dirty and like it was just like awful and just these terrible places, it just seemed. And so I think that at this time, like he's like, this isn't just us, this isn't what like the news is showing, like we're better than this, and we can be proud of who we are. Like we don't have to just assume that we're all just on crack or whatever. So I think that it is also like a strong song to like at this time, and I think it does something. It is something that carries on as well. And like you were mentioning as well, it mentions it kind of samples in some like the Farrakhan tapes, which I think is also meant to like inspire the youth listening and like the people who are listening to this message, and just to kind of, you know, a lot of I don't really know how it works. I've never really spoken to somebody who has like heritage or something like that that's, you know, that was taken from Africa. So I just would think that would just be like so interesting, and just understanding like who you are and where you came from, because you're just so, I mean, I guess with like genealogy and stuff like that, you know, you can do your ancestry or whatever. It's easier to figure out where you are. But I think in the 80s, obviously, like there was a little bit, you didn't have like that kind of technology to rely on. So I think it's pretty interesting. And it definitely feels like important, this song. And just sort of like to know who you are and to unite peacefully, and, you know, something that, you know, Black people have done in the past. They've stood up and, you know, followed their community leaders who have made a difference. And I think that they're also saying like this is our time to do that again, and to show people like, you know, we can be strong and we can be peaceful, and it doesn't need to be like an arms, you know, something where we all have to like fight and have guns and that kind of thing. Like we can do this peacefully. We don't have to. We can change and be good people. You know, just shown in the media, I guess, like instead of like all of these gross things that are shown, unfortunately. I don't know if I'm getting my point across clearly, but that's it. Yeah, I give this a 4.75. I think it's great.
Fair enough. So that comes to the end of our little album review, where we broke down Long Live The Kane by the great rapper Big Daddy Kane. I gave this project a 4.39 on 5. On the one hand, this album is clearly on that like seminal list of shit that a lot of people I really listened to when they were growing up.
Yeah.
And you can feel the impact of the way he rhymes. And when it's just really like, it's really like non-gangster too. Another thing to point out, it's really like just about the rapping and the music and the focus. I guess we didn't even comment on that, but he seems like such a genuinely good guy. And even his ladies jam, comical as it may be,
boy.
was really passionate and sincere.
Stick to the rapping.
Like everything he does on this project is really just tight rhyming and really pretty safe and innocent context, like bars and shit. Like this might be the most family friendly I'm the best rap album type shit.
They even beep out the swear words, so.
But like it's pretty. But the part that makes it cool is, while it is all that family friendly safe shit, it's also hard as fucking dope. Like it's really dope to listen to. So I think it's a really incredible album that I'm again happy I heard. I can't see myself going back to it that much in life, but I'll certainly listen to a couple of those tracks again. I'll definitely be singing a certain song at Bonnie over the next couple of weeks. You're my aphrodisiac.
Oh boy. Nope. Anyways, I gave it pretty much the same thing. I feel like a lot of the time we've been giving similar grades. So this is a 4.3 for me on 5, so it's an 86%. It's good. It definitely is like historic, and it definitely has its place in like the hip hop lifetime or whatever. That didn't make any sense, but like in hip hop history, it makes, you know, it's there. And I'm definitely glad that we listened to it. It's fun. There wasn't really like too much that was bad. Not a fan of the love song, but yeah, I could definitely see it. I don't know, I liked it. It was cool. If it happened to come on again, I wouldn't turn it off.
All right, well, thank you all for checking this out and sticking with us. I personally, I'm very much looking forward to hearing what you have to think about everything that was talked about in this review.
Yep.
What your experiences are with Big Daddy Kane. What of his projects are your favorite? What was it like that day in 1988 when you walked into the local record store and copped that vinyl, or was cassette out by then? I don't really
cassette,
know.
For sure.
88. Or both. Vinyls are still popping back then. All I'm trying to say, or at least some people had vinyls back then. All I'm trying to say is let us know what your experiences are like, or tell me all about how vinyls weren't around back then, because I was wrong. I would look forward to hearing
like they've been around.
What you have to say in the comments. I promise if you make that effort to leave a comment, I'll absolutely make that effort to respond to you. Yeah, special thanks to the patrons Ismail Gadamsi, Chris Prado, DJ Black Hurricane, Jonathan Barnes, and Mr. Linda Williams. They support what we do. They helped us get a new camera. They support us directly. In exchange, they get album reviews. Like next week, it's going to be Lindell Williams' album review request. And in a couple weeks, it'll be Mr. Jonathan Barnes, it seems, is there. Maybe I'm wrong. I'll have to double check that. Don't hold me to that, Jonathan Barnes. Still.
He's like, we can do it.
Anyway, all I'm trying to say is, as we flush that out and it grows and it becomes something better, we look forward to seeing kind of how we can all work together to make it better. Otherwise, we can do the more traditional YouTube support thing where you can subscribe to that channel, hit that like button and comment for more reviews, and we will be back with more reviews, absolutely. So looking forward to that and looking forward to hearing what you think, and have yourself a wonderful day.
Bye, guys.